It's Sunspot 2737. It's already beta class. 2 fields. Here it is in 304 angstroms. This is from 10 o'clock Universal Time yesterday until 6 o'clock Universal Time on April 1st. And this sunspot is going to destroy the world. April Fools. Here's the most current image at 171 angstroms. This is at 6:26 UT, Universal Time. Greenwich Mean Time, Zulu Time, whatever you want to call it. Got some magnetic complexity going on already. Here's more. Here's your real-time solar wind, where we see the BTBZ is all over the place. Phi angle is all over the place. Solar wind density 6.86 protons per cubic centimeter. And an uptick over the last 4 hours in the solar wind speed up to 418 kilometers per second. And let's go to spaceweathernews.com, look at some more data. A great site run by CIA agent Ben Davidson. That's another April Fool's joke, by the way, if you didn't catch that. Some heavy spikes in the magnetometer here. KP index at 2. Cygnet's forecast is very old. We see a small dip in the electron flux today. And that's probably going to level off. We don't expect a large dip like yesterday. No charging hazards. F2 layer looking pretty normal right now. And so are the aurorae. Here is a magnetosphere movie, courtesy of University of Michigan. Nothing too out of the ordinary there. Moving on to other things. Here are ground magnetic perturbations over the poles. The location where the current sheet meets the planet. Some perturbations there, as we typically see. The South Pole migrating toward Western Australia. We see the main activity going on, not over Siberia, but over Canada, as we typically have. Regular viewers are aware that we have 2 North Poles, and that's not an April Fool's joke. Here's a quick quake rundown at quakes.globalincidentmap.com. See an uptick here. We're looking at only the last 6 hours. Better head to USGS and get all of these. All right, here we are, usgs.gov. So the last 24 hours, we saw a 4.5 in the Solomon Islands, a 6.2 in Ecuador, the largest quake in the last, must have been a month. Still having a magnitude 7 drought big time. 5.0 in Ecuador, 5.1 in Ecuador, 5.4 in Ecuador, 4.7 in Indonesia. So we are seeing an earthquake uptick around the world. Here's a 4.4 magnitude at 367 kilometers depth. Sagave, Wallace, and Futuna. 5.0 in Turkey. 4.7 in Mayotte. 4.6 in Colombia. 4.9 in Ecuador. A lot of activity in Ecuador. 4.0 in Alaska. 4.4 in Russia. 5.5 in Peru. A 4.4 at Fiji at 550.2 kilometers depth. 4.6 in Indonesia. 4.6 in Fiji at 584 kilometers, 4.3 at Greece, 4.3 at India, 5.2 in India, 5.1 in India, 4.9 in India, 5.1 in India, 4.9 in India, 4.9 in India. It's a lot of quakes. Another 4.9 in India, 4.7, a 4.6, a 4.9, a 4.7, a 4.9. Wonder if people are freaking out in India right now. Another 4.9, a 5.2, a 5.2. So we have an escalating size of earthquakes too. Now a 4.7, a 4.4 in Turkey, a 4.5 in India, 5.5 in the Philippines, 4.7 in India, 4.4 in India, 4.6, 4.7, 4.2 in Taiwan. Did you feel that one, David Devine? 4.5 in China, 4.6 in India, 4.5 in India. Now you have 4.6 at depth in Mexico, 5.0 in India. I'm not going to keep reading all these quakes because my voice is going to wear out before the video's over. But I'll scroll down so you can see them all. India, 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 getting hammered with quakes. See where those are located. And they're all right on top of each other. Check it out. Major activity going on in the Indian Ocean there. Bring up the satellite map here. Make this a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Anyway, there's the location of that massive earthquake swarm off the coast of India. It's actually on the Indonesian side, Malaysian side of the plate boundary there, as you can see. And I'm not going to stay on this map because I don't want to go crazy. So we saw a big uptick in earthquakes there. Let's check out volcanoes, see if there's a push me, pull you kind of a thing going on. We see Ducona with a 6,000-foot ash plume there. Revenador, 14,000-foot plume there. Sabancaya, unable to detect. And Planchon Peteroa. So we got a downtick in volcanoes and an uptick in earthquakes. And we're going to show two images of the Gong 2 here. First, the line of sight field plot, where we show the B field. Those of you who are not familiar with B fields, the B field is the field that goes through and comes out of the radius of a magnet, in this case the sun. And the Z fields are the ones emanating out of the poles in green and red. So there's the line of sight field plot. And here is the top view ecliptic plane field plot. Just keep in mind the data is 1 hour and 35 minutes old. And one other thing, note the anomalous readings over at stereo B. It does not know what portion of the heliosphere it's connected to. Check it out. Just a little note there. Stereo B has not been functioning right since 2014 due to a hardware anomaly. And that hardware anomaly was caused by a spaceship. That's another April Fool's joke, by the way, folks. Anyway, I'll take a moment to forecast some magnetic turbulence over the next couple days, as the sunspot is going to significantly alter this situation. And with magnetism, keep in mind, it could change at any time with no warning. Here's a view of the solar system at theplanettoday.com. And I'll advance this for 1 week so you can see where they'll be in 1 week. Now, for you new viewers, we're going to be looking at stereo A in a moment. Stereo A is a satellite located right about there. Stereo B, for your information, is right about here. And we're going to be looking at this view because that is a view that we use to check to see if there are any coronal mass ejections headed toward the Earth out the interplanetary magnetic field. And here is the Stereo A Core 2 space weather beacon. I'm going to zoom that in just far enough where we can still see the date stamps. We're going back about 3 days here. And the coast is clear as far as coronal mass ejections so far. We'll be watching that sunspot. Don't be an April Fool. Understand that solar variability weakens the Walker cell. Yes, the Walker cell. That is a weather reference. Meteorology. They have revealed that during periods of increased solar irradiance, the trade winds weaken and the Walker circulation shifts eastward. Here's a nice quote that I've been stating on our channel for months. Soon we realized the magnitude of the wind anomalies that we detected in observations simply could not be explained by radiative considerations alone. What we're talking about here is the fact that the weather is affected not only by temperature and by humidity and by, obviously, by the sun, but temperature, humidity, barometric pressure, and so on. I guess it's a little known fact that electromagnetism affects the weather. I'm not April fooling when I tell you that weather forms associated with Hall currents. When you see those parallel clouds in the sky, Hall currents. There's a diagram. Enjoy and share with your friends. Teach them real meteorology. Speaking of real meteorology, looks like we're starting out the month of April with scattered snow across the entire country, including Texas, by the way. Apparently, it's so hot down there that it's cold. Also at AccuWeather.com, you can find this water vapor map, which is very helpful for those of you who understand atmospheric physics, and even for those of you who don't. If you've got a storm stagnating over the top of your head right now, check out the water vapor map. It'll give you insight into when it will leave, how the massive dry air is affecting the typically warmer, less massive, moist air. Yes, I said the word moist. Deal with it. All right, next I would point to this graph, citing that the Northern Hemisphere had historic snowfall. Now, that blue area is the average from 1982 to 2012. You see, we had nearly 500 gigatons more snow than usual this year, and the massive flooding in the central U.S. is caused by this snow melt. So, keep in mind, I don't think the news is priced into the market yet, folks. I would definitely keep my eye on the stock market today, because I think there's going to be a lot of April Fools with their company stock in the red today. The 40% loss of crops in the U.S. is not yet priced into the market. If you think we're April fooling you, go look at the wheat commodities. Global warming update. The planet's burning up, although the Arctic is still covered with ice. And furthermore, if you haven't installed the Windy app, I suggest you do. Best mobile weather app I've seen. And we're going to show you something here on this map that you may not be aware of. Windy has recently added snow depth. What a great idea. I love it. So check out windy.com, download their free mobile app, as it could save your posterior region. We do see a low pressure system over southwestern Minnesota there. Rockies are covered in snow. And if you're worried about Greenland melting, let's just pan over to Greenland real quick. Yeah, oh no, the glacier's melting. Look, it's all gonna go away. The glacier, it's melting. Greenland is covered in 9 feet of snow. There you go. The whole continent, pink, 9 feet of snow. The Arctic is not melting. Don't let anybody tell you it is. They are a true April Fool if they are. How about a trip to the Velo Shop? Whether it's on the web or in person, theveloshop.net, the ultimate cycling shop in the Lehigh Valley. Now, they're closed today, but go give them a visit tomorrow. But the website's never closed. Anyway, support your local bike shop if you're not going to support my local bike shop. Because it's one hell of a bike shop. And any potential sponsors out there looking to get your corporate logos on a world-class cycling team jersey, send me an email at smashomash@gmail.com. Also, to all our regular viewers, if you've got a story or if you want to converse with me behind the scenes, smashomash@gmail.com. Also, check out smashomash.org. It is now a real thing, and it's just a clone of our smashomash.com page. But keep an eye on it because it's going to be changing very soon. We already have a contractor picked out for our web design, as I don't have time to do it. Let's take one quick moment to suggest some further reading. Wolf Rayet stars, the most massive and brightest stars known, such as one of my favorites, Cygnus X3, aka Deneb, the swan of the tail in the constellation Cygnus. Now, these are massive stars that are very hot. They have a solar wind that's like 10,000 times the speed of the sun's. And if you want to read about some interesting objects, read about Wolf Rayet stars. Even Robitaille is a little confounded by these, as he suggests that they don't have a lattice. And I think they do have a lattice. It's just underneath so much plasma that it's not visible in the normal spectral fashion. We'll leave links to the article on earthsky.org. And here we've got a view at 94 angstroms, just for you, our viewer. We've zoomed in. Sunspot 2737's formation. We're going to zoom way in a minute. Take this opportunity to thank our donors, our subscribers, regular viewers, people who leave a comment. Please leave a comment. Sound off, everybody. Let us know where you're located. I'm not sure if we've got viewers on every continent yet. Anybody in Antarctica, if you're watching, give a shout out. Close-up view in 94 angstroms of Sunspot 2737. And let's get one more bonus view. And here is the flattened intensity gram. Close-up of the formation, Sunspot 2737. It does not look like it's growing very much. It's actually in a state of stagnation right now, according to what this looks like. But these things can change with no warning, so thanks for tuning in. Remember, it'll never be now again. So may the solar wind be at your back, the atherosclerosis absent from your veins. And when you're staring at sunspots, don't drink. And if you drink, don't drive. But stare at sunspots. Stare at sunspots anyway. Just don't drive.